Hey creatives, welcome to Magical, Mystical, Mythical Monday. If we have never met, my name is Kim and I'm a creative freelancer with a passion for film and the written word. And if we have met, welcome back. And on today's Magical, Mystical, Mythical Monday, we're talking dragons. Let's get started. Alright guys, dragons. I'm sure the first image that comes to you is of that fantastic show, Game of Thrones. In the last decade or so, dragons have really become a popular mythical creature. And I think in part because of the rise of digital effects, it makes them more realistic, more, in tune with the scene that they're in. But they have been around for eons, and every culture has their version. So to find the origin story is not really that easy. I mean, you can go, the Aztecs had the winged serpent Quetzalcoatl. You have, of course, European dragons. You go back to Babylon and Samaria. They have a version of what could be called a dragon. The ancient Egyptians had Apep. So honestly, dragons have been around forever, and they have either captured our fear or our fascination, spurring imagination, and I think they'll continue to do so. So where did they come from? Your guess is as good as mine, but they're cool, and I think they're here to stay. I thought what I'd do is I'd give you a couple examples of the evolution of dragons, and particularly in film, but there are dragons present all over the written word for sure. In high fantasy, you have everything from Dragonlance, you have, of course, The Hobbit. The dragons are prevalent in a lot of different creative outlets, but I'm going to concentrate on film. And I'm gonna give you 5 movies that showed the evolution of dragons. So we're gonna start with number 1, 1941's TheReluctant Dragon. It's an animated Disney short, and it's kind of underrated, I think. It's kind of an overlooked piece. This guy stumbles through Disney Studios looking for Walt Disney so he can, pitch this idea of this animated film, and at the end you kind of find out Disney's already greening it. So it's really cute, it's really fun. It gave you kind of a behind the scenes look in the studios of Disney at that time. Kind of, it's a fun little piece. So if you get a chance, I would check it out. Yeah, so TheReluctant Dragon. 2, and that pushes us all the way to 1981. Not to say there wasn't dragons. There was, before then, Pete's Dragon and a couple other really cool movies that had dragon-like creatures in it. But I think in 1981's Dragon Slayer, the dragon as a creature made a leap. And 1981's Dragon Slayer, basically a magician's apprentice gets charged with slaying a dragon who's been eating young women from a town nearby. And it stars Peter MacNicol. It's really great piece. It's kind of nostalgic for me because it was probably the first time I saw a live action dragon on screen, and it really captured my imagination and kind of developed my love for dragons in general. So we'll jump to number 3. Number 3 is actually the following year, and it was a little bit different of a dragon and a little different dragon image. And that would be Q. Q is basically ritualistic Aztec killings are going on in New York City, and while that's going on, there's also this winged beast attacking, and it's awesome. Has David Carradine, Michael Moriarty. It's a fun movie, really well done. Check it out. And then of course, number 4, I think jump a few more years ahead, and of course, like I said, there were films in between, but Reign of Fire really was a different take on dragons, and so the dragons emerged from within the earth to wreak havoc on the world. Has Matthew McConaughey, Christian Bale, Gerard Butler, a lot of fairly decent names, and it was a fun movie. Do I think it was a masterpiece? No, but it was a different take on dragons, and I think that propelled them a little bit further into the mainstream populace. And then my last movie that I'm going to talk about is actually more of a couple movies, and that's the Tolkien movies. And Tolkien in literature helped bring dragons into kind of a place where they were known. But in the films, what Weta and the company, what they did with the CG and everything, I think was the predecessor to why Game of Thrones in that aspect. The story in Game of Thrones is excellent, the acting is excellent, but I think the dragon aspect, I think, would not have gotten to where it is if it was not for Peter Jackson's Tolkien movies. So guys, that's kind of the evolution as I see it of dragons in film. I'd love to get your opinion on the evolution of dragons in film, or if you're even into dragons. So in the comments below, leave me your favorite movie having a dragon in it and which one you think was the one that propelled dragons into the mainstream. And guys, I think that's it for today. If you liked the video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you're digging on Magical, Mystical, Mythical Monday, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And please remember, I post every day by 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and every day is a different show, but they all have to do with film and the written word. And guys, until next time, safe journeys.